All right, y'all, it's January 2nd, 2025. I'm headed back over to some public land. This is the stuff I scouted a week or so ago. I didn't find a whole lot of sign, but I did bump into a couple bucks. Now, I didn't have a whole lot of intention of going back there. It takes quite a bit of effort to get in there, but I left that one cell camera in there. And if you remember, I had a really hard time finding somewhere to leave that camera and ended up just leaving it on a high point in there. Well, we got a whole bunch of rain last week around Christmas, and the water came up quite a bit in that area. I'm actually bringing waders in today to get in there. But since that water's come up, I actually had a pretty decent deer on that camera on that little ridge I talked about previously. So while I didn't find a whole lot of sign, I'm thinking that since the water's up pretty good, there's not a whole lot of dry land in that area. So I'm thinking if I get in there on one of those ridges and just set up, I've got a pretty good chance of seeing some deer. That's what I'm going to try. I've been on some deer in some other spots, but the thing is the wind is just dead wrong for those other spots today, and it's perfect for this spot. So while I don't have super high expectations and it's going to be quite an adventure getting in there, I figure what the heck. You know, a couple years ago I had a dadgum sure enough stud in there on one of them ridges on a camera when the water got up like it is now. Now, while I don't really have that camera back in that same spot this year or last year for that matter, I don't know if that deer's in there, but there's no reason why there wouldn't be another deer or that same deer, which I know is still alive, pushed back up on those ridges with the water having come up a little bit. So y'all stay tuned. I'm gonna go give it a shot and we'll see if we can get into some deer. I'm about 2/3 the way in here. I forgot how much walking through water and water sucks, man. I found this laying tree, sit down so my bag can sit on it. I can take a little break. I'm not trying to be quiet, y'all. I'm just trying to get in there. When I get closer to where I want to be, I'll probably slow down, but I figure these deer are used to people walking through the woods and waders. Hopefully they're used to sweaty wader stank too, because I can smell myself. I kind of forgot. I didn't forget, but that smell brings back memories from my duck hunting days. I'm gonna sit for a couple minutes and then get back up and finish getting on in there. Well, I managed to make it back in here. I'm just trying to cool down, take a break. I swapped, took off my waders, boots back on. Feel like I lost 10 pounds, went on a diet. So the plan is I'm just gonna kind of walk down this ridge and probably get in kind of the middle of it. My wind's been right in my face the whole time. So anything on this ridge I don't think smelled me. I don't want to go too far because I don't want to blow anything out. My wind is kind of blowing back across all this flooded timber. So ideally, I can just slip down here real quiet along the edge of the water and the dry land. Find a spot I can climb up in with my wind blowing back across the water where I can watch this ridge And hopefully all the deer's pushed up here and some will come through. That's the idea anyway. But I'm gonna sit here for a little bit and try to get some energy back and get my saddle and all that stuff on, and then we'll go see if we can find a tree to climb. I'm finally in here, set up. It's around 2 o'clock. So it took me about 3 hours to get in here. I knew it was going to be a trek in here, and it's going to be some work, but this wouldn't be the roads less traveled if I wasn't willing to work. I said I was going to set up with my wind blowing back over that timber. But when I got in here, I realized my wind's pretty much blowing directly the way that I accessed it. So I didn't figure I'd be gaining a whole lot by sitting up on the edge of the water, because my wind would be blowing down the edge of the water, not across it. So what I decided to do is sit up in the middle of the ridge. That way I can see the whole thing. And my wind's blowing right down the middle from the direction I came. I'm not expecting any deer to come from that direction, so I think this is a worthwhile sacrifice. I'm sacrificing a little bit on my wind, not a whole lot, but I'm gaining a whole lot more shot area, and I can see a lot better. I don't know if we'll see any deer, but I sure like this, man. It just feels right. I did find a little bit of sign once I got up here on this ridge, but it was real subtle. Just some tracks, a little bit of feed sign, and a few droppings, a few piles of droppings. So at least there has been deer in here. And I know from cameras I've had in here over the years that there have been a lot of deer in here this time of year, and a lot of daylight activity this time of year. Is that the case right now? This year? I don't know. I would have liked to sit up in a tree with better cover. And I looked for a split trunk tree or, something like that, but I just couldn't find one. But this tree gives me the best shot opportunities in this general area without pushing even further. I've got about 3.5 hours to sit here and hunt, so hopefully something shows up and the trek in here is worth it. Getting out of here is going to be even more of a pain in the dark, but I ain't got anything going on tonight, so I can take as long as I want. I'm going to get quiet. I'm going to do a little bit of calling here in a little bit. I seen some deer, I guess yesterday. They were doing a lot of grunting and a lot of vocalizations. Not far from here. So it's worth a shot. Anyways, I've talked enough. I'm going to get quiet and see if anything shows up. The sun set. I did end up seeing a deer about 5-10 minutes ago. Couldn't get it on camera. I just got a glimpse of it walking through the woods. About 100 yards away, maybe, something like that. It's been a nice evening. I sure do love this stuff, man. Hopefully that deer lays over here in a second. If not, I'll start backing up and make the long trip back to the truck. My wind switched. That deer's across the bayou from me. My wind is kind of blowing that way, so I'm gonna guess she's blowing at me. But who knows, man? At least I seen a deer, and I heard a deer. It's down the last 5 minutes illegal, so I'm gonna say nothing else is gonna happen. I say that, I might be hearing something coming. It better hurry. Well, my waders are still there. Alright, now time for the sucky part. Long walk through the water to back to the truck. Y'all do me a favor, hit that subscribe button. And always remember, take the roads less traveled.